Okay. St. Augustine Confessions reading here from one of the project passages for AP. Just jump right into it. Why, therefore, the verb here for St. Augustine, he's speaking biographically here. Why, therefore, did I hate? These are one of the defective verbs, so despite its pluperfect form, it just will translate as the past. So, why, therefore, did I hate? Also, the Greek grammar here, as the footnote suggests, just the Greek language in general. Contentum here is a participle modifying the grammaticon. So the Greek language singing, Greek was frequently sung, so the Greek language singing, talia here just used as the object of contentem, so singing such things, neuter plural. Indeed, Homer, the et here, et follows with a correlative, another et here. So indeed, Homer, he he is both peritus textere, he's both skilled. Textere, the footnote tells you to scribere, but I think it's better as weaving because Homer he never wrote anything. So Homer is skilled to weave tales fabelas, so weave such tales or fables, and is most sweetly empty or vain or pointless. The footnote down here does draw to your attention why Augustine calls Homer and his writing, or not his writing, his poetry vain. It's because essentially, according to his account, epic poetry was empty, deceptive, and a distraction from becoming a better Christian. That's the reason why he qualifies Homer in such a way. Anyways, um, indeed, Homer was most sweetly he was most sweetly empty. Yet to me, and puero here is an apposition to me. They're both dative to me as a boy. Homer was amarus. He was difficult. He was bitter. I believe indeed, and credo takes a dative object, so graecis pueris. I believe indeed on the other side of things, the Greek boys that that Virgil thus is so that he's bitter or difficult for the Greek boys on the other side of the Adriatic, the Adriatic Sea. When thus the Greek boys they are compelled, it's plural, discere to learn eum him, referring to Virgil. Uh, Ut here meaning as I, in comparison, as I, as a boy, was forced to learn, all kind of implied. I was forced to learn Illum, that guy, referring now to Homer. So shoe on the other foot. Indeed, I think maybe supply an est. Indeed, there is difficulty. The difficulty entirely, and here a long gerundive expression, all in the genitive, the difficulty of a discendi, of learning by heart or a learning by heart a foreign language. And we get a simile here as if, again, I think the difficulty, as the footnote suggests, is still the subject here, aspergebat, as the difficulty was sprinkling or kept all adding to all the sweetnesses, the Greek sweetnesses of their storied narrations, their storied stories, adding to them with sprinkling them with bitterness, phile, bile. Um, Indeed. Um, Now, the no, nosco is a difficult word just because it takes on two meanings, either to learn or in the past tense, the perfect system to know. Here, I might have to kind of play around and see if what works best. Indeed, I here would mean I knew or I had learned, one of the two. It's pluperfect indicative. Knew. I knew none of those words. So it's referring to the Greek words when he was reading them as a kid, Homer's words. I knew none of those Greek words. And because of the terrible terrors, the terrible fears and punishments, so that I might know, it was arranged. It was demanded, I think is what that is. It was demanded of me, mihi dative. It was demanded of me vehemently. Indeed. Both, I think, yeah, at some point in time, both at some point in time, I like Wando. At some point in time, I knew at some point in time no Latin words, and that some point in time would have been as an infant here. And it just infans here, the nominative set in apposition to the implied pronoun I, novarum. And utique, help me out, vocab. Certainly, I certainly knew at some point in time no Latin words as a baby. And yet, by paying attention, I learned without any fear and torture among even the flattery or the compliments of nurses and the jokes of an Audrey Dentium here is a lot of these. This one's a participle, a pap, present active participle, as is this one and this one. These are all substantives. So, so among the jokes of those, and maybe these are his friends as a child, of those of my friends, of them smiling, and the joys again of my friends as they're laughing. I learned truly. Illa here, maybe supply verba. I learned those Latin words without the penal penal weight, yeah, burden of I think here these are now teachers of teachers pressing upon me as a student. So he's drawing in contrast his experience of learning Latin versus Greek. And he learned Greek in school and it was forced upon him through teaching. And he learned Latin naturally through his conversations as a child with his friends. And he seems to draw a contrast. Greek he doesn't know it all that well and Latin he knows very well, and the two methods he had for acquiring those languages he thinks plays a part in how he knows one better than the other. From here, it is clear enough, Lucet Satis, it's clear enough, and I think we go into indirect speech, it's clear enough that our subjects of the indirect speech are down here, and there's a comparison again, so it's clear enough that free curiosity, free roam of curiosity, our verb in the indirect speech, the infinitive habere, it holds or it has majorem, and it holds a greater power, a greater force toward or for learning those words. Again, verba has to be implied, but learning those words, or just the grammar of a language. It holds greater power than does fearful necessity.